Oh, it's recording now. Yeah. Okay, I'll continue this. I'm going to continue with my book, Rammat's Koran, which is a edited version of the Koran that we all know and love. Always an edited version of the Koran, but it's more than that. It also shows how to use this when you're talking with Muslims. Yeah. I'll continue with this thing here. Yeah. Okay, also in the Quran Surah chapter 98, verse 6, non-Muslims are seen as the worst of creation, which opens the door to beheading or burning alive those they consider to be non-Muslim, as ISIS demonstrates. There is even a scripture that says non-Muslims spend their quote, lone time biting their fingertips in constant rage of Muslims, wishing them only ill. With such teaching, a Muslim is able to freely capture and enslave married women. See the first part of Quran 424. They can even rape them in front of their non-Muslim husbands. See Sunan Abi Dawud 220-151. As reported, see Sunan Abi Dawud 22150's report of how the first part of Quran 424 is see how the first part of Quran 424 was handed down by quote, all of the exalted. Muslims will try to say that there is no, quote, in the presence of their husbands who are unbelievers, as regards to raping in Sunan Abi Dawud 220-50. They will say that Sunan Abi Dawud 220-50 means the same as Sahih Muslim 834-32. But for the longest time, even in the Sunni Muslim website Sunnah.com, it had it. For the longest time, even the website Sunnah.com, I have to change it to it. Had it in. It had it in English as in the presence of their husbands who were unbelievers. The intercourse, rape actually, could take place with the captured non-Muslim women. Such evil is demonstrated daily with ISIS and Boko Haram. And found out in Sunnah Abi Dawud there were other places that had it too, but most Muslim websites have gotten rid of in the presence of their husbands or unbelievers and made it just another version of Muslim 834-32. Realizing that the Quran teaches these things, it seems that the only way to wake up a Muslim to the true nature of Islam without them falling into the arms of ISIS is to show them what the Quran actually teaches. They need to know that the Quran teaches that embryos go through a blood clot stage, which the Hadith says is 40 days in duration. The Quran also claims the earth is spread out flat like a carpet, which according to Muhammad in the Hadith is spread out on the back of a giant agitated fish called Nun. It's also called Behemoth and stuff, but I think it's mostly called Nun. Which would destroy the earth if Allah, according to the Quran, didn't, quote, cast down mountains as pegs, stabilizers. See Al-Tabari Hadith. Then I discovered Quran 4:15 and something in the Hadith that made me think the Quran could actually be edited and changed, making it possible for Islam to go through major reformation. Although the Quran is supposed to be eternal and that all its words can't be changed and altered, the Quran mentions in two scriptures, 16:101 and 2:106, and especially Quran, and especially 2:106, where Allah can abrogate the Quran. Don't believe me? Here is Quran 16:106, quote, "And when we, Allah, and Allah likes to call itself we a lot, substitute a verse in place of a verse, and Allah is most knowing of what He sends down. They say, "You, O Muhammad, are but an..." Oh, Muhammad is added, but an inventor of lies. 16:106 of lies. Yeah, and here is 2:106. We, that's Allah, do not abrogate a verse or cause to be forgotten, except that the key, and this is the key word here, except that we bring forth better, one is added, one better than it or similar to it. Do you know what that do you not, oh, then it goes on to say, do you not know that Allah is over all things competent? That's Koran 2:106. Now these two scriptures let you know that the eternal and unchanging Koran isn't eternal and unchanging, because in Koran 4 verse 15 it says, "Those who commit unlawful sexual intercourse of your women, bring against them 4 witnesses from among you, and if they testify, confine the guilty women to houses until death takes them." Or, and this is the key word, this is the key, this is key to the proof that the Quran can be changed, or Allah ordained for them another way, way, and some say another way better. That's Quran 4 verse 15. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? Although this scripture seems to be an admittance that the Quran is a definite creation off the top of Muhammad's head, it at the same time shows that the, quote, eternal and unchanging Quran is a work in progress, with the sentence, quote, "or Allah ordains for them another way," that is, until Muhammad thinks of something better to do with lewd women. According to the Hadith, let's see, how much time do I have left here? Let's check here. I've got more time, yeah. Okay. According to the Hadith, which a Sunni Muslim, like an ISIS member, is to believe in or not be a Sunni Muslim, one of the proofs that Muhammad was the seal of the prophets was that Muhammad had a growing hairy mole on his back that went from the size of a partridge egg. That's Sahih Bukhari, Volume 1, Book 4, number 189, to that of an apple, Jani. It's Jemi Sunan of at Tamidhi Hadith 1534, Alim CD-ROM version. I've known 2 people with such a deformity growing on their backs. Neither of these guys claim to be the seal of the prophets. As a matter of fact, one happily had his seal of the prophets removed, especially being that it was making his wife squeamish when looking at it. The thing is, it seems to me that if you don't have one of these growing hairy moles on your back, for Muslims to consider you worthy enough to be the seal of the prophets, there would be no way to reform Islam. That you could only reform it by deceit. For if you had no conscience, you could go further, saying that while you were exploring the dark cave, an angel of light suddenly appeared before you, claiming to be an angel, be the angel Jibril, again using Quran 2:106 to abrogate most of the Quran. You could say Jibril had returned, even with the same threat of squeezing you to near death if you let it known you weren't able to read or recite. See Sahih al-Bukhari, Hadith 1.3, narrated by Aisha. So, if anyone were desperate enough to try to reform Islam by lying, they might also say that the angel of light told them that it was no longer due to having a hairy mole. If someone were a liar with no conscience, he could make up such a story about an angel of light As proof, he might even say he took a flying creature with the head of a human, wings of a bird, tail of a peacock, and flew to two structures in Jerusalem, the temple, to visit two structures in Jerusalem, the Temple of Solomon and the Al-Aqsa Mosque, neither of which existed at that same time. Neither existed at the same time. You know, I think I might have to stop here. Isn't it true? Let's see here. I think I've run out of time. Okay, one more minute. Okay, one more minute, then continue here. Okay, according to Aisha, whom Muhammad married when she was only 6, Muhammad claimed to have flown on such an animal in his journey, quote, journey by night from Mecca to Jerusalem, where he said he took Moses' advice in talking Allah down from 50 prayers a day to the current 5. Sahih Bukhari Hadith, Volume 1, Book 8, number 334, 345. But to me, truth is where it's at, even if it's painful. Thus, instead of lying and coming up with a new Koran that way, I feel it's best to just edit and remove most scriptures from the Koran, and only focus on those scriptures in the Koran that don't make those scriptures in the Koran that make sense only if the Bible is not corrupted as Muslims believe. And so I think I'll stop it here.